Hello everyone. Today I want to do a comparison of the ballistics of the 6.5 Grendel, the 6.8 SPC, and the 7.62 by 39. Okay, so it's kind of wet outside today, and I needed to use this board, so that's why we're in my office here. Okay, so I did a video a couple of months ago on a 6.5 Grendel. It seemed like a very interesting round because you can just get a 6.5 Grendel upper on it, and it can just go on your standard AR-15 lower, and you've got a 1,000 yard gun. Okay, there's plenty of guys online shooting 1,000 yards with the 6.5 Grendel. Okay, but the issue that came up is most of those guys were shooting like 24-inch barrels. Okay, and when you look at the energies, right, of the 6.5 Grendel, I mean, they'll be anywhere from 1,400 going all the way up to 1,800 foot-pounds. But again, a lot of that dependent on the barrel. So what I did today is I basically did a whole bunch of research looking at other people's videos that have basically 6.5 Grendels, 6.8 SPCs, and 7.62 by 39, and it doesn't matter if they're AKs or ARs. And I'm looking at it specifically in the 16-inch barrel. Okay, so now these are like regular guys that basically have a setup similar to mine. They got their own guns, shooting either on their property or at a gun range. But like they don't look like they are paid advertisers, right? They don't look like. I wanted to make sure that they weren't like promoting, they weren't doing a paid promotion. Okay, so that's one of the things that I look for when I try to gather information. Not to say, that's not to say that paid promoters can't give us a lot of good information. But for the purpose of this video, I just wanted to make sure it was like just regular dudes with their own equipment collecting their own information. Okay, so some interesting information over here. With the 6.5 Grendel, again, we're only looking at 16-inch barrels. And one of the nice things about the 6.5 Grendels, I was able to find a guy shooting Wolf, right? Cheap Wolf, 100 grains. Velocity, 2531. Energy, 1422. Okay, so if you're going to get a 6.5 Grendel, this is most likely what you're going to be buying and shooting, okay, for the bulk of your shooting. So you're pretty much looking at 1422. Now, the premium stuff, right? This is, I think this was from the same video. He had Federal Premium, 130 grains, Velocity, 2266, okay, Energy, 1482. Okay, so a little bit of an improvement here, okay, in the energy with the premium. Now I don't know what the accuracy difference from here to here is, but the energy difference is pretty small. Okay, a Hornady Black. Now we're getting into some serious Gucci ammo. Okay, Velocity 2369, energy 1533. So again, a slight improvement. So we're up in that 1,500 foot-pounds of energy average, right? Actually, the average of this is about 1480, right? That's where most of these things, what we're seeing here is pretty much as an average. That's the middle right there. And I've seen plenty of AK-47s with 16-inch barrels get up close to that, 1,500 foot-pounds. Okay, so like right away, it's like, okay, 6.5 Grendel. Yeah, it's I mean, you're paying more for the ammo. It's hard to get. You probably don't have a ton of this stuff stockpiled. How much of a benefit are you really getting with the 6.5 Grendel, unless you are specifically getting like a 24-inch barrel and shooting Gucci ammo? Now, one of the things I noticed when this guy was shooting this, he did have some feeding problems with the magazine, right? But now he didn't have the problems with the Wolf. Okay, he only had the problems with the Gucci ammo over here as far as feeding problems. Now, one of the things I have seen in other places, other people doing 6.5 Grendel reviews, is people have stated that it's not extremely reliable if you're shooting full auto. Okay, now full auto can mean Also, is also going to apply if you're just doing really fast shooting, bump firing, using a binary trigger or an FRT trigger. So that's an issue with the 6.5 Grendel, and I think it has to do something with the shape of the cartridge and how it feeds. Okay, so 6.5 Grendel, realistically, in a 16-inch barrel, you're gonna come in somewhere around 1480, maybe 1500 foot-pounds of energy. So now I looked at the 6.8 SPC. Now with this, I was only able to find guys testing out Gucci ammunition. Okay, so Hornady boat tails, hollow points, 110 grains, and Hornady VMAX, 110 grains. So we're talking expensive ammunition here, but 16-inch barrel. I made sure it was a 16-inch barrel. So with the Hornady boat tails, average velocity was 25.99, energy 1650. Okay, and then again with the Hornady VMAX velocity, 110 grains velocity was 2623, and the average the energy was 1680 foot-pounds. So let's say the average between these two was, I don't know, somewhere around 1665. Okay, so what are we, like 120 foot-pounds over the Grendel over there? So in a 16-inch barrel, like, I am not seeing a tremendous difference going from a 6.5 to a 6.8 if we stay with the 16-inch barrel. And I think that the main reason why the 6.8 SPC seems preferable, right, is because it will work in a full auto, right, or if you're doing rapid fire or bump firing or using force reset triggers, etc., right? So it feeds better under fast firing conditions, and it seems to work better in a shorter barrel. Okay, because when this thing was designed, they specifically wanted this to work with shorter barrels. Okay, so I'm using 16-inch barrels here. Presumably, you could go down, get closer to like an 11-inch or 10-inch, and you would have decent results. Okay, so if you're considering like between 6.5 and 6.8, and especially if you're thinking about going 16 inches or shorter, the 6.8 is probably going to be a better choice for you. Okay, now with the 6.5 Grendel, we can get ourselves some cheap Wolf ammo. I don't know what's available in 6.8, how much budget stuff is out there. Okay, now I wanted to take a look at the AR-47, right, or AK-47. Again, we're looking at a 16-inch barrel, and I don't care which platform you're shooting it at them. Now, these two numbers here, Red Army Standard and Tula, both of these 122 grains. This I pulled out of my book, okay, stuff that I have chronographed myself. So the Red Army Standard, average velocity 2225 for an energy of 1341. Okay, Tula, 122 grains, velocity 2250, energy 1372. So I don't know. Let's say the average between these two energies, with the 7.62 by 3.9, the 16-inch barrel, I don't know. We're gonna get what is that? 1350 or 1355 energy. Okay, so 1355 energy, right? I mean, it's not like, I mean, yes. I mean, again, this is out of cheap Russian budget ammo. It's still like, it's less than this stuff up here, but not a whole lot less. Okay, all right. Now, for the sake of consistency, I looked at some of the 7.62 by 3.9 Gucci ammo. Well, I was able to find one guy that did Saber Black, which I think is made by Palmetto. So that's still like budget stuff. 123 grains, velocity 2303, energy 1448. Okay, so the Saber Black that I think Palmetto makes, that's going to give you a nice bump in energy, 1448. I have to get some of this stuff and try it out, because yeah, it's definitely a little bit hotter than the Russian stuff I've been shooting. So I'd like to try this out and see how accurate this is. But this easily gets me into a lot. It gets me a lot closer to what the 6.8 and what the 6.5 is doing. Okay, and then I found one guy that had tested out Hornady Black in 7.62 by 3.9, 123 grains. So now we're comparing Gucci to Gucci to Gucci over here, right? We got all the Gucci ammo lined up over here at the bottom, right? Hornady, Hornady, Hornady. So velocity 2367. Okay. So let's look at the energy numbers, because the energy basically takes into account the different bullet weights. So energy 1530, right? That's how your AK-47 or your AR-47 using Hornady Black 1530. It's less than what the 6.8 is doing, but it's on its heels, man, right? And as far as the 6.5 Grendel, it's there. It's almost the same, right? 1530 versus 1533. Hornady Black versus Hornady Black, right? So these are like the same, not only the same brand, but also like the same line, within that brand. 1530 to 1533. So, looking at these numbers, like the reason why I'm looking at this is because I was like considering that I should get a 6.5 Grendel upper, right? To have that as a 1,000 yard gun. However, I wouldn't be getting like a 24 inch because that's kind of like ridiculous. I'd probably be getting like a 16 or 18 inch. And from these numbers that I'm seeing here, the 6.5 Grendel is probably not going to be that much better than what my AR-47 is doing, right? And if I really wanted to make my AR-47 better, I could just get some of this Gucci ammo here and shoot that, right? Get the higher velocity numbers and higher energy, right? So with this 6.8, again, I don't know what's available as far as budget ammo, but this Hornady stuff's pretty expensive. And again, I'm looking at, I'm seeing very minor increases, like with a 16-inch barrel, right? Everything here being 16-inch barrel, I'm seeing very small benefits here. Now, from what I've heard, the military, the reason why they've been interested in the 6.8 SPC is because they think it's going to penetrate body armor. Okay, so I don't think it's going to do it with these energy numbers. Okay, so unless they're using like the equivalent of green tips or black tips, right? Unless they're using some type of a penetrator round, I don't think that the 6.8 SPC is going to have, because this is like way less than what my 308 shoots, right? My 308 gets energies up around in the 20-inch barrel. I get like 2,500 foot-pounds of energy, and most of the armor, right, the plate carriers, they're rated for 308, right, and even higher sometimes. So I don't know where the military thinks they're going with this 6.8, but the drawback is, from what I hear, that the loadout, the amount of ammo that you can carry is less, right, because you're no longer carrying 240 rounds, you're carrying 140 rounds. So you're carrying half the ammo, right, for what I think based on these energy numbers here, is not going to be that much more effective in penetrating body armor. And the reality fact is that like body armor covers so little of the body, right, that you're better off just putting a higher volume on target, because you're going to hit other things outside the armor. You're going to hit arms, you're going to hit legs, you're going to hit hips, you're going to hit neck area, you're going to hit head. I think that 5.56 probably makes the most sense. I recently did a video where I was shooting at a truck rim at 200 yards. I shot it with 223. I shot it with the 7.62 by 3.9. The 223 actually did better than even the 7.629. And when I used green tips in the 11-inch, right, the green tips in an 11-inch did better than the 7.62 by 3.9 in the 16-inch. The 7.62 by 3.9, like it moved the rim, it impacted it pretty good, but the green tips still penetrated it better, just because the construction of the bullet itself. Okay, and again with the green tips, that's stuff that you can buy in bulk. It's budget, because you can stockpile green tips, right? You're not going to be able to stockpile and buy thousands and thousands of rounds of these Hornadys, right? All right, green tips, you can buy thousands and thousands of rounds. Okay, so something for you guys to think about. And like I said, the reason why I'm doing this is because I was considering, also getting a a 6.5 Grendel upper, right? So I don't have any ammo. I don't have any 6.5 Grendel ammo, right? Or if I went to 6.8, I don't have any 6.8 ammo. So for me, it's like I gotta get the ammo, I gotta get the magazines, right? I gotta get the upper, right? So then it's a question of like, how much ammo am I gonna buy? How expensive is it going to be? Am I going to have enough of it where I can just like practice without like being stingy with the ammo, right? Because I got so much 7.62 by 3.9 that I shoot it every day, and I don't I don't even think about like, am I ever going to run out of 7.62 by 3.9 ammo? Okay, if I get it into either 6.8 Grendel or 6.5 Grendel or 6.8 SPC, yeah, I mean, I'm even if I buy 2,000 rounds, I mean, you can go through that stuff pretty quickly. Okay. So anyway, something for you guys to think about. I think a lot of times the benefits of the 6.5 Grendel and the 6.8 SPC, I think, are overstated. And a lot of times people, when they're doing comparisons, they're using like, or companies, when they're doing comparisons, they're using these barrel lengths that are just like absurdly long, right? Like, 22 inches, 24 inches, 26 inches, to put out these crazy numbers. But like, for a long time, people have been saying, 6.5 Grendel, 1,800 foot-pounds of energy. No, it's not. You're not getting 1,800 foot-pounds of energy, with a 6.5 Grendel in a 16-inch barrel. Okay, so these are the realistic numbers that I watched. People like myself, right? Test out on their own guns, on their own equipment, without like having an incentive to try and like promote the guns or the ammunition or, whatever. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all soon. Hey, everyone, two more things I want to add. First thing, 300 Blackout. Where does that fall into this? Okay. So I've tested 300 Blackout, 16-inch barrel. It was actually the SIG MCX using American Eagle and Freedom munitions. And basically, the energy comes in somewhere around 1,100 foot-pounds. Okay, but practically speaking, like, I was testing a truck rim at 100 yards, and it could not penetrate the truck rim at 100 yards, where both the 7.62 by 3.9 and the 223 out of a 16-inch barrel could. Okay, in fact, the 7.62 by 3.9 was even able to penetrate the truck rim out of a 10-inch barrel. Okay, so right then and there, I'm like, the 300 Blackout is, it's decent, but it's we're talking way less practical power. I think because I have a 7.5 inch in 300 Blackout, I think that's where it kind of makes sense, because it gets a really fast burn, and you can have a 7.5 inch barrel, without losing too much energy. Okay, so I think that's what the 300 Blackout is good for. Now, somebody had at some point said, yeah, 7.62 by 3.9 might be more powerful, but what about accuracy? As far as the accuracy in the SIG MCX, I think the best I ever got was a 1.5 MOA at 100 yards. Most of the groups come in closer to 2 inches. So, now I've only tried two types of ammunition, but yeah, nothing great. Okay. Now, as far as the 7.62 by 3.9, okay, out of the AK-47, I've never been able to get like consistently good groups. I think the best I ever got was like at 200 yards, 2.75 inches. But a lot of that had to do with the fact that, it's difficult to mount good optics on an AK. You got to use either a side mount, which I have found, it shifts, it moves, just because the receiver of an AK-47 flexes when it shoots. Okay. And if you have the best place to put a red dot is over the gas tube, but then I got a problem with a magnifier in the back. Once I got into AR-47s, right? I've got one from Davidson Defense, 16-inch barrel. I've done a number of videos on it. I have hit 1-inch groups at 100 yards several times, posted videos. I've gotten a 1 MOA at 200 yards, okay? And I've had it out to 300 yards, where I got a 7-inch group that's shooting off the bipod with no bag in the back. Okay, so unbagged in the back. That's still like, I think it was like 2.3 MOA at 300 yards. Okay, and I plan to get it out to longer distances. But anyway, the 100 yards and 200 yards, I shot that bagged front and back, and that got 1 MOA. So in an AR platform, the 7.62 by 3.9 is pretty damn good, pretty damn accurate. Okay, the only issue I have had was the Bear Creek Arsenal firing pin breaking. Right, that Bear Creek Arsenal firing pin is bear shit. Okay, but I've got in there a Black Rifle Arms firing pin now, and that seems to be doing really well. Gorilla Machining, I hear, also has a very good firing pin. So yeah, as long as you got a good firing pin, you're good with the AR-47. Okay, so I just wanted to mention those two things. One with regards to the 300 Blackout, as far as power and accuracy that I've observed, and now that SIG MCX, it is a piston system. So one of the things with the piston systems is they tend to be a little bit less accurate because the piston is a moving part, and after you shoot, the thing can still be vibrating after while you're setting up for your next shot. So and that can change the barrel harmonics. So that's one of the reasons why piston guns can be a little bit less accurate. So that was a piston gun. So that might be part of the reason why the 300. In fact, my 7.5 inch, which is a direct impingement 300 Blackout, actually shot better. I mean, I think I got 1 MOA with that for 4 out of 5 rounds. Okay, so the 300 Blackout can be a 1 MOA, in direct impingement, but the it is nowhere near the power of an AK. I mean, well, no, I mean it's not fair to say it's nowhere near the power of an AK-47. It is substantially less than the power of an AK-47. Okay, so yeah, and the other thing I was saying is the accuracy. The accuracy of the 7.62 by 3.9 in an AR platform is pretty good. Okay, 1 MOA, I've hit it a bunch of times.